Hi, welcome to another video tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about how I like to color with markers and how you can do the same with your stamps. This is one of the cards for the May Stamp of the Month Club, and as you can see I've colored in all these great details on this stamp, and today I'm going to show you how I go about doing that so that you can incorporate markers into your stamping process. So I'm just going to jump right in and get started on making this card. First things first, I'm going to ink up my stamp. I just kind of go a little bit higher than center. It's not important to be super straight or accurate with this. So in between each color, I'm just going to clean off my stamp. Just kind of ink off on my scrap paper. And I started with the center color in order to make it easier to kind of guesstimate where the center was. And I'm just kind of offsetting a little bit, up or down. And I'm just gonna finish stamping this and fast forward through this part for you. So before I go any further, I'm gonna add my ribbon. You can see it's just like this. I added it to the white card base before I glued it down, so I'm just going to do the same here. The secret to getting a flat bow is always just to pay attention to what way your ribbon is laying as you tie it. So I always tell people to just go slow, take your time, and make sure that you're always keeping your ribbon as flat as you can. It's not always easy, but as you can see, it can be done. And I'm just going to trim it. If you want to make sure it lays flat, you could always stick a glue dot underneath it, just to make sure. And I'm going to glue down really quick to my card base. Because this is a little loose, we'll just go tight. Okay, so we got our card base and we're ready to go ahead and start coloring in our stamp. So how I do this is I always start on the inside with the darker colors because I want to make sure I go slow and careful. And all you got to do is just decide where you want what ink color and color it in. You always want to turn your pen to the side as you brush it on. You don't want to go straight down, up and down. And that's all there is to it. So on this stamp set, I'm just decided to use all the colors of this rainbow that I've chosen out to color in my image. And if you're not familiar with our markers, there's a brush end and there's a writing end. So the writing end looks like this, and you can write anything you want with it. And then the brush end is great for coloring things in, like I'm doing on the stamps. So I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this in, and I'll fast forward for you so you don't have to sit here and watch that boring process. Okay, so now that everything's colored in, I'm going to go ahead and stamp onto my piece of Whisper White cardstock this. The secret to stamping with your markers is that they're water-based, so you can color them in and the ink may dry out a little bit, but right before you go to stamp it, all you got to do is just kind of huff a little of your breath onto it and it re-moisturizes the ink. And that's that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use my Thinlit die with the magnetic platform. If you haven't seen the magnetic platform, it's pretty awesome. You can see it just kind of sticks to the platform. So it's great for holding it in place exactly where you want to cut it out. And there it is, cut out. And now I'm just going to take a scrap of my Daffodil Delight and I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to it. And then I'm just going to cut it out. Okay, so to glue this down onto my card, like this, I just use some Stampin' Dimensionals, which I pretty much use on every card. I like having a little bit of depth to what I've made. And I did get asked recently the question, you know, how many do you use? It just depends on the size of the shape. Usually I'll try to put one on every edge just to make sure it's not going to get concave. You can always just use one or two, however many you feel like you want to try to use to hold it to your card. And but usually that's about how much space I'll cover. If it's a bigger image, I'll go a little bit less, but or a little bit more depending on how much space I need. But anyway, that's it. So you just put that down on there and you're good to go. And then just so you can see them, here's one of the other cards in the Stamp of the Month Club. This one's featuring the new color Blackberry Bliss, really pretty. I also colored with the markers here, and then I just filled it in with a blender pen. So you'd color in the color that you stamped by just coloring over with the blender pen, and then you just ink it off on a piece of paper and then go to your next section. And then this card is the third of the 3 cards, and this one was fun because I actually used the fringe scissors, which I'm happy to tell everyone are carrying over into the new catalog, but to cut my grass. And I just made a simple, cute birthday card for, you know, actually this would work for a boy or a girl, masculine or feminine. So that's it for this month. These are the 3 cards. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you like what you saw, you can always just hit the subscribe button and check back my next video next month. Thanks so much.